Hello everyone, and welcome to your very first flipped classroom video. The purpose of this video is to show you all what a flipped classroom is and how we're going to use them this school year. So what exactly is a flipped classroom? Well, it's exactly what the name suggests. We just flip our classroom around. So at home, you will be watching a video of the lesson and taking notes. Then in class, we will apply what you learned from the video and we'll be doing work together. That means your only homework for my math class is going to be watching a YouTube video and writing down some notes. So why do I want to do this flipped classroom anyways? The number one reason. The first reason is that taking notes as a class can be very boring. I know how it goes. You sit in your desk, you write down what the teacher tells you to write down, you stare out the window until the slide changes. This way, with the flipped classroom, you'll be doing that part at home. You just watch the video, write down what I tell you to write down, and you're done. Then, in class, whenever you're doing the hard math problems, you will have your friends around you to ask questions, as well as me. I will be walking around the whole time, talking to you, asking you if you understood last night's video, and making sure that you know how to do your work, not just giving it to you for homework, then expecting you to figure it out on your own. And so the main reason why we're doing a flipped classroom is so that you can do your work together and you can practice together and ask me as many questions as you need to. So what if you don't have internet at home? I know that a lot of you have smartphones and computers, but I also know a lot of you do not. So a few options. Number one, you can always go to the school library before school, after school, or during lunch. Also, I know that the City of Flagstaff has at least 2 public libraries, which are free to use, and they all have computers. So if you live close to one of those libraries, that could be an option. You can always stay after school for either tutoring or TLC, so that way you could use the computers and just catch the later bus home. But the number one thing, if you do not have internet, is to tell me and communicate with me so we can work something out to make sure you are watching the videos. So how long will the videos be? My goal is to make every video about 10 minutes, sometimes shorter, sometimes just a little bit longer, but my promise to you is never longer than 15 minutes. Never. So how is this going to work? I'm sure a lot of you are still a little bit confused. So go ahead, get out a sheet of paper. You will need to go ahead and get used to following directions from the video. So don't look at me, get out some paper, get out a pencil, and get ready to learn how to take notes from a flipped classroom video. Now, with every flipped classroom video that I show you, it will always start with a title slide. So, on the top corner of your paper, top left-hand corner, I want you just to write the title, Flipped Classroom. Now, I do have this really cool app on my iPad where I can draw on it, which is how I will show you examples, how I'll point things out to you that you should write. Along with every title slide, it will also have a name and then where it belongs. You guys are very familiar with the Eureka Math modules and lesson numbers. So for example, it would be Module 1, Lesson 1. For this slide, you can just write example video. Now, taking notes from videos. The first thing that you always do when the slide changes is you write down the title. The title of this slide, what can you guys tell what it is? Come on, shout out your answer. You're right, taking notes from videos. So this part right here, you do not have to necessarily underline it, but just push it against the left side along that pink line on the left side of your notebook paper. Write down the whole thing, taking notes from videos. Then, if you look at my bullet points down here, number 1, always write the title of the slide. But look at number 2. It says write the bullet points. I promise you that I will always try to make these as short as I can. So go ahead and write down all 4 of these bullet points. So we already talked about writing the title of the slide, writing the bullet points. Number 3 says copy examples. If I give you an example in the video, you need to copy it down. I'm going to say that one more time. If I write an example in the video, you need to be writing it down. And lastly, listen for directions. I may not write everything down that you need to know. So do go ahead, listen to what I'm saying, make sure you're paying attention. Don't just click through looking for when the words change. Listen. So moving on to the next slide, I hope you all have this down. So accessing the videos. Before I talk about this slide, I do want to point out this slide does have a title. So again, on the next line, all the way against the left-hand side of your paper, the pink line. If you have any questions about that, just raise your hands and I'll come over and help you. But accessing the videos. Remember, we do write the bullet points too. So, as soon as you're done with accessing the videos, write down this bullet point right here. All you do is go to Miss Naylor's teacher page. Most of you should know how to access that. If you don't, just go to Sonawa Middle School's website. Click on this little search bar right there. Search my last name, Naylor, and this should come up. Once you are on my homepage, I want you to look right over here. It says Flipped Classroom Videos. If you click on that little link that says Flipped Classroom Videos, it brings you to this page. This page right here has 2 options about how to access the videos. Number 1, I do have a YouTube channel. So if you want to find me on YouTube, you can click the link that is right there at the bottom. The arrow did not show up, I'm sorry. Click the link right there on the bottom. Takes you to my channel. You can subscribe to my channel so you can always see when I'm posting new videos. Now, I know that at school you cannot access YouTube, and I know that some of you may have parents who don't want you to be on YouTube, and that's perfectly fine and okay. So your second option is going to be right down here at the bottom. And this right here, if you click, like let's say we're looking at Module 1 videos, if you click Module 1, it will take you to a Google folder with all of the Module 1 videos in it. So if you have any questions about accessing these videos, about finding the YouTube channel, using the Google Drive, just ask me, talk to me, we can figure something out that's going to work for you. Now, I do want to teach you guys how to take notes from an example. So I did pick something kind of simple that you should have learned in 6th grade. If you don't know how to do it, it's okay. But go ahead and write down how you know what you've learned about how to take notes from a video. You always start by writing the title. So write example 1. Now, I did not put a bullet point here, but it's the example problem, so you do need to go ahead and write that down. So the question says, what is x if x plus 2y equals 10 and y equals 3? Write the whole thing down for me, please. And now I'm going to show you how to solve it. So we know that y equals 3, and we're given the equation x plus 2y equals 10, and we want to know what x is. So any ideas on how I would do that? Where should I put the 3? Come on, go ahead and tell me what you think. You can talk back to a video. So the 3 goes in place of the y. So I'm going to rewrite this equation. X plus 2y equals 10. Now I'm going to replace that y with a 3. X plus 2 times 3 equals 10. Now we do our order of operations. We figure out these parentheses. So x plus 6 equals 10. Now we take away 6 on both sides, and we get x equals 4. Two things. Number one, whenever we do an example problem, I will always go through step by step, and I want you to write everything I write down in your notes. So everything on this slide, the title, the question, and the solution are all in your notes. Second of all, I'm sorry that the handwriting is kind of hard to read. I still don't have a stylus, but I promise I will have one of those before your real math videos start. So we're going to move on to the next slide. This is called a try it problem. Whenever we have a try it problem, just like every other slide, write down the title, write down the problem, but this time I want you to try it. When you get to these problems, I want you to click pause on the video, solve it for yourself, find an answer, then hit play to see how I do the problem. The purpose of the try it problems is to give you a chance to quiz yourself. I'm always only going to have 1 or 2 problems. It's not going to be a lot of work, but I want you to promise me that you will actually try the try it problems. Now, I am going to go ahead and go through the solution. If this were a real video, I would wait about 2 minutes to let you work through it. But since this is just an example video in class, I'll go ahead and show you the solution. Again, we know y equals 2. We know our equation. We are trying to find x. So I'm going to plug in 2 for y. So I have x plus 3 times 2 equals 13. Order of operations, it's actually the same as the last problem. We have 3 times 2 again. So we get x plus 6 equals 13. Take away 6 on both sides, and we get x equals 7. Hope you were all able to get that right answer, and I hope that you are all as excited as I am about trying the flipped classroom. If you have any questions, please ask me. And so that's it for this video. Have a good day.